Good evening. I'm Rafael Martinez, and this will end in darkness. And this is liquid death water. That's very tasty and seems to sponsor every podcast but this one. You know, you people could be doing a lot more, just saying, by spreading the word. But it seems like you just like taking me in, but never letting me go. And that's a problem. Because I can't grow that way. I don't belong to you. I want to belong to everyone. As many people who will be willing to pay for this on a Patreon someday. That's my financial plan. That's the entire financial plan. So it would be great if people helped by spreading the word. Letting people know what I'm doing over here. Because WRKM doesn't. No ads. Not even a mention anymore on other stations. They used to treat us with respect. They used to send us to the radio station to wave. We dominated that. We got to break news on wrestling stuff on the main newscast. We used to do that. And now it seems like we're not appreciated anymore. Even though we're in a brand new time slot of Saturday night, 10 p.m. I thought that'd be a promotion, but no, it's not. Nothing's changed. Lots of promises, no deliveries. But that's not the point. Because I have big news. Huge news. Life-changing news. The kind of news that if you don't know yet, you're dead. You don't exist if you don't know this news. If you don't know this news, I don't know what to tell you. Where have you been? Clearly, you're not following any of my socials. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I'm even on TikTok now. And if you followed these channels, you would know things. Don't be a basic bitch and follow me on my socials. Who else are you going to follow? Another Instagram thought? They're everywhere. You can spend an hour looking at that? Instagram thoughts? Come on. I'm sorry, Claire. That diet page you keep looking at is not going to lose the weight for you. You kind of have to do the diet. It's not about liking and subscribing. That's not how losing weight works. You have to actually do it. Just saying. Only speaking as someone who lost 20 pounds recently. Just saying. I gained a little bit of it back, but not too much, so won't be a problem to lose the rest of it. Because some of us are proactive for a time. And that's why you should be following This Will End in Darkness on all social platforms. Because then you would know the big news. You would know this life-changing news. It's kind of sad you don't know it. But I am happy to be the one breaking it to you. You wait your entire broadcasting career to break news like this. You really hope that a network would appreciate a man who would do this, who would break this kind of news for free on public access television. You would think they appreciate him a little bit more. And I'm not mentioning this because we're in the middle of a contract negotiation that's not going the way I want it to. No. I'm just letting you people know how much I care. How much I care about delivering this news. And as someone, people, the last time we said we had huge news, some people felt it wasn't really huge news. I thought it was huge news. My arrival on Clubhouse seemed like a really big deal. Because I was invited. Unlike the rest of you, I was invited. I invited some of you. So for a brief time, I was of the elites. I've been in rooms with Taylor Lorenz. Have you not heard of her? She's a big-time social media journalist? Blogger? Gossip columnist? I don't know. But I was in a room with her once, and I said one thing to her. Love your work. And then was cut off immediately, but I was in the room. Sometimes that's good enough. And also a lot more than what some other people on this network have done. But I'm no stranger to disrespect. When you're great, they hate. In the words of Memphis Bleak, in a new Kanye West documentary. God damn that liquid death water. But I do have huge news. And I think you still should have celebrated my arrival on Clubhouse for the huge news it was. It was my ascent, but none of you cared. So, none of you promoted that and showered me with the gifts I deserve. And I'm not feeling unappreciated because my birthday's coming up. I'm not feeling that way at all. I'm not even celebrating my birthday. I don't even fucking like my birthday. But it'd be nice if I got some appreciation. Just a little bit. Anyway, big news. On this show, we often talk about the ever-changing landscape of real estate, though we don't know very much about the mysterious real estate. One thing we know for sure is that for a while during the pandemic, no one was paying rent. And for some landlords, it went pretty bad. Liquid death water. But it's gotten pretty bad. Worse than we thought. Now a lot of these landlords can't maintain the properties and are forced to sell. And they're selling to companies like BlackRock Investments because they want to be your corporate landlord. We talked about that here before. Mentioned it several times. You will own nothing and be happy, but not to be outdone. Not, I respect it so much. I truly do. It's the most honest grift I've probably witnessed in a long time. Because it's so of the time and it needs to happen. It's the next stage of evolution. It's time. We've all made this decision. And this company was so sweet in just doing it without having to be asked. They just read the field and went, we're going to do it. Ladies and gentlemen, Disney is in the real estate game. That's right. With something they're calling story living. Allow me to regale you with what story living is. My throat's a little dry. Should probably drink some of this liquid death water. Refreshing. This comes from ABC News. Fans will soon be able to call Disney home. On Wednesday, the company announced the launch of Story Living by Disney, a new community for Disney fans to live that incorporates the company's brand of magic. The master planned communities are intended to inspire residents to foster new friendships and pursue their interests and write their next exciting chapters in their lives, all the while the attention to detail, unique amenities, and special touches that are Disney hallmarks, Disney said in a press release. That's it, baby. It's done. We did it. we are now going to escape reality. Who wants to live there anymore when you can live in a Disney community? We did it. They figured it out. For a generation of people who are afraid to get old and die, and who want franchises to last forever, and want their childhoods to last forever, Disney said, well, fuck it. What if it could? What if where you live was Disney magic? And everything was just great. And you got to hang out with Mickey Mouse every day. And Donald Duck was the sheriff. How cute. And the only crimes are missing dogs or missing toys. Maybe a bank robbery from time to time, but of course the bank robbers wouldn't be threatening. A perfect world where there is no real crime. Just misunderstandings and wacky whimsy. They did it. And I'm so proud. I truly am. I never thought I would live long enough to see the companies take over our homes and to brand them. But they did it. Disney will soon own the entire country. And they can spread whatever narrative they like now. Because in their community, all is real. It's the metaverse on crack. It's the metaverse realized. It's what cosplay always wanted to be, but this achieves it. Imagine you go into this town, right? And Disney's like, hey, you can live here, but you gotta maintain a storyline, Truman Show style. What storyline are you hoping to get? You're the janitor at the high school? You're the mechanic at the gas station? Maybe you're the mayor of town. Who knows? But the storyline's written for you. And you don't have to think about anything anymore. The Disney, what they call them, magic makers, will make your life happen for you. And then people, it says this in the article, can buy day passes to visit your community. So they too can be wrapped up in the whimsy you live in every day. It's never going to get boring. It's not at all. Why would it get boring? It's Disney. It's fun. It's comfortable. It's nice. Oh, look, we're kissing while it's snowing ever so lightly in California. Oh, look. That slipper fits that 18-year-old girl. She's now the prom queen. Oh, how romantic. That young boy kissed a girl in a coma and now she lives. That's not weird at all. Especially because they're strangers. There'll never be complaints like, this fairy godmother mayor we got here, this bitch can't get anything fucking done. Have you seen what's going on over on Donald Drive? There's potholes everywhere. No, that's never gonna happen. Swing. Instantly fixed. The kids will all hang out in Fantasia Fields and do mushrooms for the first time. Well, that's not really Disney. They'll drink a lot of soda pop. I just hope that they go full Disney and they don't just stick to the magic. They actually go into other franchises like the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Imagine Ultron attacking your town and throwing Iron Man into your house, and you're the only one to survive out of your family from that. It's true to the experience. It's part of the story living. It's not a tragedy. It's character building. It's what you signed up for. And then people can, with their day pass come and go, wow, Ultron decimated his entire neighborhood. Wow, look at that guy over there crying for his family. He's really giving it his all. We do it now. We do it now. In a world where everyone wants to be a star, this Disney living thing might be the best thing that ever happened. And it's a good, honest grift. Because No one cares about reality anymore. So why not just go? Get the hell out of it. We all don't want to live sadly anymore. So maybe this Disney community's got something right. But the problem is, in a lot of Disney high school stuff, there are bullies. And listen, some kids are going to have to be bullies. Your tools for bullying will be very limited. Sucks for them. They can't be the artists they truly are, but they'll have to find resourceful ways of doing things. I would love to be like the father of the bully in this Disney town. Yeah, because I know storytelling. Let's be honest. For every kid at that school, it's a gamble. Because not all of you can be the main character. Some of you are going to have to be, bothered. Some of you are sacrificed so the cool kid looks cool. Look at him defending that nerd, That's going to happen at this Disney school. The whole Disney community's got to do it right. It's got to be booked well. And if we're lucky, who knows? Maybe Six Flags will start doing it, and they'll make a Looney Tunes neighborhood, and maybe they'll do the Fright Fest thing, make that a whole town, Halloween town, really. Imagine that. Disney does a whole Nightmare Before Christmas town, so all the goth kids who enjoy Halloween could live there and realize how fucking overrated the holiday is. It could all work out. The holodeck in Star Trek showed us it could all work out. Just live in the fantasy for a while. And who says you have to live there forever? Maybe do 10 years in the Disney community. Do 10 years in a fantasy world. It might do you some good. Because shit we're in now, not good. Not good. But if we're going to lie to ourselves, let's go to a place that's a full-on lie. And that's the beauty of the Disney community. Like, you'll accept that it's not real. Like, you'll go, oh, it's not real, but it's fine. It feels more real than the real world. Okay, it makes me happy. But the real world is real. And it is also equally as fake. Not that deep of a thought. But it is a problem. It's a problem. The world's changed now. We can choose reality. And what I also like about this Disney community is that there'll be condos, apartment buildings, but also mansions. So even in the Disney community, there's income inequality. So they kept some things of the real world in there. Good for them. Good for them. But it's all about the experience now. It's all about everyone's personal experience. They want their personal experience to be happy. They want their personal experience to be good experience. They want just to be happy. And that's a very flawed concept. I'm not saying being happy is a flawed concept. Being happy is really nice, but the pursuit of always being happy, let's be honest here. Everyone feels that whatever happened to them was the most unique thing that could possibly happen to them, but it's not true. It's not true. But maybe in Disney community it can be. But can it really? Like, if you're all living in a Disney magical place, like, not all of you can have fun. There's gonna have to be some poor people. Yeah, that's not sustaining itself for any poor people. I don't know how they're gonna pull that off. You need poor people to run that. You need poor people to run your park. You're gonna need them to run your community. I wonder, how do you sign up to be a sheriff there? And that's another thing I was thinking about. Like when's the first police brutality case in Storyville? Welcome to Storyville. Ultron killed my entire family. Welcome to Storyville, buddy. My son was killed in a night duel. Welcome to Storyville, buddy. I'm excited. I'm excited for them. Because it seems like people have a hard time dealing with the real world we're in. And I had this experience on Facebook recently with somebody. They were making a point about book fairs. I will pull this up because it was quite ridiculous. Okay. So, post about. So, this guy's talking about school fairs. And he's like, the scholastic book fairs are harmful to children for lower income families. It's hard to imagine anything worse for a child's interest in reading and seeing your classmates' excitement about choosing and buying books and feeling left out and embarrassed from not having the money to participate. Repeated time after time as they grow, it should be free or not at all. And here's the thing, though. The library was right there with free books. Even the books you saw at the book fair were free at the library. Now, as someone who attended many book fairs as a kid, the book, not being able to afford a book at the book fair did not traumatize me. What traumatized me was, well, let's see, the crack epidemic, Reaganomics, extreme poverty, gang violence, and just crime as a whole. It wasn't the book fair. And if the book fair traumatized you, your childhood's great. You had no problems. Your problem was really poverty. It wasn't the book fair. Your parents are broke. And I always found it to be weird that a parent can give a kid $5 to at least get a bookmark at the book fair. The book fair is actually pretty damn cheap. It's actually pretty damn cheap. You start to wonder, how are you budgeting this money? Even in cases of extreme poverty or having not enough money at the house, my mom made sure if the book fair was coming up, I had money for the book fair. She made sacrifices. That happens. Sometimes you sacrifice some things so your kid can have some things. It's sometimes a new concept for people. The book fair was traumatizing. The book fair that was in the library with free books was traumatizing. I, of course, commented these very thoughts and sentiment. And a lot of people agreed that was quite soft of the poster to blame the book fair. And it was soft. You can't blame the book fair for existing. You can blame poverty for those kids not being able to afford books, but the price of books are the price of books. I don't blame Old Navy for me not being able to buy their jeans, even though I can, but you know what I mean. If I'm broke, I'm broke. That's how it is, bro. But it seems like we always try to find these little things, these little fake traumas, to justify all the other traumas that we just go unchecked with. Like, oh, the book fair didn't let me read. If I only had been able to buy a book at the book fair, I would have developed a stronger sense in reading. Really? You mean the free books didn't do it for you? But the book fair. You needed the book from the book fair. But not the list of Goosebumps books that were in the library for free? It's fucking ridiculous. It's this lack of self-responsibility I just don't get. And someone made a point, well, it should be free. I'm like, well, no, the library's already free. The book fair is meant to be a special thing, and a lot of times that money goes back into the library. People brought up, well, this one girl brought up, oh, my parents couldn't take me back to the library in time a lot, so I'd always bring books back late and be charged late fees. Okay, let me ask you a question. Could you ride a bike? Could you walk? Hey, I used to walk to the library all the time. I used to skate to the library all the time. When you'll want something, you'll do it. It's about building habits. When you want to build a habit, you'll build a habit. You'll spend the time to do it. Spend the time to do it. See, I gotta spend time figuring out how my lisp operates so I can stop it. But thank you to Liquid Death Water for being here. When you want to build a habit, you'll build it. When I wanted to be a better, or not a better reader, but I guess a more avid reader, I went to the library. I went every other weekend. When I had my skateboard, I went down there, took out a book, brought it back. Didn't bring it back late because I knew responsibility and I didn't have the money to pay late fees like that. So if you're paying late fees for a free book, that's on you, my guy. Literally, all you have to do is go, get the book, take the book, read it, and then bring it back. It's the simplest free transaction you can have. It's not rocket science. And I never relied on my mom to take me places. If she was tired from work, I'm hopping on my skateboard and I'm doing it myself. You gotta be a self-starter. You always had to be a self-starter. It just seems like so many of the things that we want to have happen for us, we wish people had handed it to us. Oh, here's a love of reading. Here's a love of all these things that take time to build. I stopped reading for years. I've just this past maybe 6 months got back into reading again, which is, to partially help with this podcast to have more things to talk about, but mostly because I missed reading. If you want to do it, you'll do it. My brother, he, not to get too much into his own business, but he's like top 3 of the grade average, in his school. That sentence sounded horrible, but I'm going to commit to it. He's top 3 in his school, dude. And it was because of the habits that were formed when we were raising him. His parents and myself as his brother, they made sure he had his schoolwork done on time. They made sure he took time to do what he had to do and study. I was always suggesting, why don't you read this? Check this out. And every time he would do something, like finishing a book or anything like that, I would always tell him, you know what? You should be proud of yourself. Not that I'm proud of you, because it doesn't matter if I'm proud of you or not. You should be looking at yourself and thinking, am I proud of myself? It took me so many years to figure this out. And I would tell him, you should be proud because you finished the book. Not many people do. They don't. It's now easier than ever to get books in the hands of children. They have tablets for the most part. Even these little kiddie tablets have children's books on them. You let your kid play with your phone, how about you put a storybook on there so they can read shit? You got them an iPod or whatever, put books on it. They have to want it. And the thing is, not so much that they're not reading, they have to read, stuff on the internet. But if you want them to do something, or you want to at least expose them to something, you have to be the one to do it. I never believed in the too tired when it came to parenting, because I never witnessed it. My mom never did that. And for me, it's like, yeah, you can be tired, but if you want the best for your child, you have to will that shit. Put all the other stuff away and will it. Motherfuckers don't want to will it. And I can't will it for you. I can only inspire you to, like I'm doing now. Because I'm so deep. I'm so smart. But no. Then, after getting into that little argument, another lady put a comment down, and she started at first with the concept of, well, sometimes there was only one library day in school and you had to wait a whole week, even though you finished the book, to get to the next book, because everyone had to be given a chance to finish, their book so they can go to library day. And in my head, I'm like, oh no. Actually, no, in my head, I actually texted this back. I said, so wait a minute, you're complaining that you finished the book early and had to wait till everyone else finished their book to return that book and get a new one? Sounds kind of spoiled. Sounds like it's not much of a trauma experience, more as you're just a spoiled bitch. You had a free book. I finished it. Who told you to finish early? Library day is on Thursday. Why did you finish on Monday? No one's fault but your own. So I didn't put all that. I just put sounds a bit spoiled to me. And boy, was that the trigger. Because she went nuts. Well, not nuts. She just got really open and just poured all this shit out that I wasn't ready for, nor did I care about. So she starts with, well, all right. I didn't just call it spoiled. I also said that even in impoverished schools that tend to be, Black and Latino, we would still have killed to have library day. And so we can get that one book a week. So we could complain years later that we weren't able to return it when we wanted to get a new book. Now, that was aggressive on my part. I can admit that. I'm a grown adult. I did trigger a bit there. I did gaslight, as they call it. Didn't mean to. It was early in the morning. I hadn't had my coffee yet. No, I would have done it even with the coffee. Who am I fucking kidding? Sorry. It's not funny. It's not funny, but it is. Anyway, she messages me back. Well, comments back. You know what I mean. It's Facebook. She goes into her life story of being a poor white from Alabama. Now, as we've spoken about many times on this show, we fucks with the poor white people because they understand. They understand how hard life can be. So poor whites, we represent all day, every day. Thank you for being an ally. And it's economic warfare against the elites. At the end of the day, we're all broke. I mean, let's be honest. So we gotta start embracing each other more and more. So she goes down this story where she's like, well, I wanted to be a cheerleader. And that started it. She started with the dream of wanting to be a cheerleader, and I kind of knew where things were going from there. I knew dreams were going to be broken. Because in high school, when it's always, I wanted to be on the football team or I wanted to be a cheerleader, those stories don't go well. Not when you're in your 30s, 3 kids, years later, and you're bringing it up in a comment thread about book fairs. So she goes into it. And she goes, you really couldn't get into cheerleading unless you had an early start in gymnastics. And they don't really consider you unless you have that kind of background. I'm actually saying it in a much more nicer way than she said it. She actually said it extremely frantic. And caps, non-caps, words that made no sense. But I will dignify her in this retelling. I will not use this time to slander. Well, not really slander. There's evidence. But I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt that her feelings were real. So she goes on and she goes, I was never able to do gymnastics because my family was poor. And she's like, and I'm tired of hearing about poverty being a race issue. It's not a race issue. Everyone's poor. And for a minute, I'm like, okay, that's a fair point. And I kind of like where this is going. Maybe now I can explain to her that, hey, even though you were poor, you still had a free library. And that's a privilege over kids in dirt poor countries. She goes on about how she went to tryouts. And when they asked her, have you ever had prior gymnastics experience? She said no. And they told her, well, you just wouldn't qualify. And I'm not laughing I'm not laughing for why you think I'm laughing. I'm laughing because for her, this was the moment that changed her entire life. Being told you could not join the cheerleading squad changed everything. And arguably is maybe a bit more traumatic than the book fair. Because that's a rejection and the other is just poverty. But rejection hits you in the soul. Poverty, that's an all body experience. Every part of your body experiences that. But rejection is something else. And she goes on about how she cried, and then her teachers weren't necessarily supportive of her dreams of being a poet. I guess because they saw what happened with the cheerleading. But she talks about how, her teachers in this poor school were not motivated because they weren't paid well. Which, horse shit. Because, all right, maybe that's her personal experience, but I don't think that's a general experience. In high school, I went to Washington Irving High School. We were fucking broke, but like every teacher I had there was fucking awesome. They legitimately wanted us to succeed. It was bizarre. Except for our guidance counselor who told me my dreams were foolish. Sucks to be him. I'm on WRKM drinking liquid death water. In the middle of a contract dispute. You better fucking pay me. So, she talks about how, she never felt properly supported in school because of the finances and growing up poor. Now, this doesn't necessarily convince me I was wrong for being mean to her. Granted, that does suck. That sucks hard. But it's quite funny. Only because it's cheerleading involved, and I find that to be hysterical. But I've had some time to sit with it, so I'm not laughing hysterically now. But then she brings up her child. And that's not fair. It's not fair. Because that's my weakness. Children, though I often say babies are really annoying, but I love them very much. Not in that kind of way, you fucking sicks. Fucking sickies. Sickos. It's not how I love them. I like being a nurturer, teaching them stuff, being a big brother, a big cousin. I like that stuff. Can't wait to be a dad someday. I'm into that shit. So I have a natural weakness when it comes to kids. She brings up the goddamn kid, and I'm like, fuck. And I know this does not go anywhere good. It's going to be a story of trying times. No one ever brings up their kid in any story unless they're doing extremely well or there's something bad going on. There's never a good in-between, oh yeah, my kid's alright. He's cool. He's jamming. He skateboards on the weekends and buys pizza. Cool kid. Not getting in any trouble. Good guy. No one ever talks about a moderate median kid. It's always either geniuses or fucking tragedy. And I know for a fact it's not going to be a triumphant story because how her story went. And because she has to double down on her poverty being more stronger than my poverty, which I found that interesting. We were in a poverty battle. A poverty powwow. So, she says her child has autism. And I was broken. I was done. Because at that point you can't argue with that lady. You can't argue with that lady. Her life is hard. Extremely difficult. And she started to go on about how the school he goes to is underfunded and cannot help him the way they want to help him. But they also don't want him to go to a different school because they enjoy the funding him being there brings into the school. It is a fucked situation. So she talks about all the challenges of getting him outside help because the poverty at her school could not do right by her. I don't know what this has to do with book fairs. But if what I gather is to be correct, schools are poor. And I don't know what that has to do about buying books at the book fair at the library. Maybe it's because parents can afford to buy them at the library, so they can't afford to support their local school. Maybe the correlation's there. But there was something there for her. This comment thread was very long. And it went in circles a lot. So it needed some editing. But the kicker was, the comment she was responding to, I had already removed because I felt it was unfair to her. So I withdrew the insult before she responded. And here's the thing. I withdrew that response midnight. She responded at 9 a.m., which means she read my insult, or I guess aggressive comment, and huffed and puffed for hours about it. It's all she could think about. This motherfucker challenged my poverty. I grew up poor too. The book fairs were bad to me too. Everything was bad to me. Oh, wait till I fucking get this guy. And she probably sat there crafting what she felt was the perfect manifesto of her life. This glorious Facebook comment that would shut me and the rest of the world up and would kill all her demons one by one. All for a comment that was already deleted. And I had already withdrawn. I responded back to her, ma'am, I don't know if you noticed, but I took down my comment before you even commented back because I felt what I said was unfair. Now, to what you just commented, may I say, you should really talk to somebody about that. And they can help you work through that trauma. We'll take a quick break and we'll be back with more darkness. We'll come back to This Will End in Darkness. Words have power. That's what I learned from that lady. Words have power. Words can be destructive and also can do a few other things. They have magic to them. Maybe that's what Disney's hoping for. It has magic through the words and concepts to make people feel better. You can certainly use it to make people feel bad. Liquid Death makes me feel good. Until they sponsor us, I will keep mentioning them, so stop asking. Words can be make or break. not just in life, but sometimes in the afterlife. CNN reports a pastor baptized people for decades using one wrong word, and now those are all considered invalid. A Catholic priest has resigned after a church investigation found he performed invalid baptisms throughout most of his 20-year career, according to Bishop Thomas. Father Andres Arago, that's not how you say his name, who performed thousands of baptisms, would say, "We baptize one in the name of the Father and of the Son and the Holy Spirit. We baptize," when it should have been, "I baptize." The issue with using "we" is that it's not the community that baptizes a person. It is Christ, him alone, who presides at all sacraments. So it's Christ Jesus who baptized you, according to the what's his name? Thomas, Bishop Thomas. Arago. At this point, doesn't matter how we say his name, he's screwed up huge. It saddens me to learn that I have performed invalid baptisms throughout my ministry as a priest by regularly using incorrect formula. I deeply regret my error and how this has affected numerous people in your parish and elsewhere, in his own message he said on his website. All right. These could be thousands of people that are unbaptized. This is a big deal. All right. Every comedian has said this one joke already. Imagine not getting into heaven due to a technicality. Everyone said it. I just said it. Now it's done. No one can say it anymore. But what everyone's missing here is we have a solution for this. We've done it once before. It's been a while, and we don't normally pull it out unless we really, really need to. But there hasn't been this much original sin in a long time. And there's only one thing this pastor can do. He's gonna have to be crucified. Stop. Don't you dare. Don't you dare turn off that video. Don't you dare. Stop it. Stop it. I don't make the rules. I follow them. Last time there was a bunch of original sin, what happened? What did Jesus do? Hopped on the cross. Bam. He cleansed it. Everyone was fine. Everyone was good. Does this pastor believe that he's better than Jesus? That he shouldn't do it after he screwed up all these baptisms and let all his original sin run rampant? And now half these people got to redo their sacraments? I think not. I think he should have to do it. I'm not wrong. I have history. I have the Bible. I have the holy fucking Bible, son. That justifies what I'm talking about. Bam. Crucify him. Dude, it's an easier choice than Jesus than Barabbas, and we talked about that in the first episode. People still chose Barabbas to free, which is still weird. But this time we don't have a choice. This time it's just a pastor. He's gotta be crucified. It's the only way around it. That's the way I see it. I know this. I was an altar server for many years, dude. I did all my sacraments. My baptism was legitimate. Unlike these people who are suffering because of this pastor. You gotta take one for the faith, bruh. You gotta take one for the faith. I'm not wrong. Don't look at me like that, Bobby. Don't look at me like that. You know I'm right. We celebrate it every Easter. If this guy is smart, we'll get a second Easter. We'll get a second holiday out of it. It's a win-win. Original sin is gone. He vindicates himself. We get another holiday. What? Come on. It's a win for all of us. Easter part 2? You mean I have 2 times a year I can go to church dress and fly? 2 times a year I can go to church dress and fly? Come on, man. He's got to take one for the faith. That's it. He would literally be so dope if he did it. He'd be better than the Pope. I would think he's more holier than the Pope because he actually did the thing, baby. I'd be impressed. I would stand by him. That's a guy I would follow. I already done followed the first dude who did it. Why not the second? It's the ultimate sacrifice, and it's the ultimate move no priest can overcome. No one will ever be able to say they dedicated themselves to the faith so hard they crucified themselves over missed baptisms. Tough choices, but I say he's got to do it. I say he's got to do it. And you know what? If he does it, I will gladly be there. And I will podcast from it. I will broadcast it so the world knows this pastor, Arago, whatever his name is dope. He's taking the ultimate bump for the faith. He's doing the job, brother. Pin me, pay me, 1, 2, 3. Or in this case, nail. Well, damn. Pin me. Yeah, damn. Because we pin me, pay me. Yeah, pin me. That's gonna have to stay. Pin me, pay me, 1, 2, 3. That's how it is. It worked for the job squad. It works for this pastor. Liquid Death could be a sponsor. Think about it. That whole story where like they pierced Jesus like to kill him, but like water came out instead of blood. Liquid Death's right there, dude. I'm not gonna say it's gonna happen for this guy, but listen, there's a world of possibilities. There's a world of possibilities. If this dude does this, it's a world of possibilities. He's gotta do it. He's gotta do it. Don't be a bitch. Don't be a bitch and bitch out, all right? You fuck up the baptisms, you gotta clean it up, all right? You got, because here's what they're gonna do, right? And I hope they don't do this. I hope they don't bring everyone he's ever baptized together and they all gotta do it over again all together at once. I hope they don't do it that way. I hope, it's gonna be dumb. They're gonna play Christian rock music and shit. It's gonna be turned to like a fucking Bible Woodstock. Or you go hardcore about it and you crucify him, dude. That'd be dope. It'd be so fucking metal, man. Please. For the spectacle of it all. Oh man, you can have him come out to Jesus Walks, dude. Kanye can perform. Oh, this would be so cool. Because Kanye is our greatest gospel artist now, according to the kids. That's what they tell me. I think I'm almost out of Liquid Death water. I'm all out. Good thing I got a second can of Liquid Death water. Hydrated. But yeah, it would, and the cheesy joke does work. Like, it would suck if you weren't allowed into heaven on a technicality. It does. It's still funny. It's funny. Yeah. I'll stop being a dick about it. It's funny. It's funny. Something I didn't find funny, I found a little more disturbing, will be our last story tonight. There's a woman who just won a case in Australia over the rights to her husband's sperm. Now, you're probably saying, well, what's mine is yours and yours is mine. Isn't that in the ceremony? Kinda. I don't know. Never been married before. And I would think that your wife does have legal, ownership of your sperm. I think that's part of it. I think that should be fair. But she is looking to use this right to impregnate herself after he has died. He's been dead for 6 months. As you know, it wasn't 6 months. How long ago was it? It's a certain amount of time in which you can actually extract sperm from somebody. And you can still be pregnant by them even though they're dead. So that's what she's suing for, and she won. So I guess it's game on. What disturbed me about it is the arrogance this kid's gonna have. He was not a kid chosen by fate. He's a kid chosen by science. He is going to think that he is the greatest fucking child there's ever been. He's going to be unbearable. My dad gave me life through death. And I guarantee you he's going to claim to have psychic powers, dude. He's going to get into the grift. It sets up the ultimate grift. And I always thought my child would pull off the ultimate grift. But I'm not that committed to kill myself and get into this situation. But this kid could very well be the worst thing that ever happened to us. And it wasn't given to us by fate. It was just by some selfish bitch's desire to have her husband's child, even though they're no longer together. Which is weird, really, for him, because now someone else is going to be raising his kid. Because she's going to move on. Everyone moves on. Everyone says, I'll never let go. They move on. Rose said that in Titanic. I'll never let go. But she definitely had kids with somebody else, didn't she? Everyone moves on. She will too. What if this kid's like the Antichrist? Like, what if this is the kid that ruins everything? You've seen Looper. What if this is the kid that destroys everything? And it's because of her. And I feel bad for him. Because he's dead. He has no idea this is happening. Who knows why he didn't have a kid with her while he was alive? Maybe he knew it wasn't a good idea. Maybe he's like, our genetics don't work well. I'm not giving this chick my kid. Maybe he had always envisioned getting someone else pregnant. But he was like, look what I'm stuck with before death. I'm not doing that. I will not sully my own seed. Which, that's a very harsh way of looking at it, but there's something up. If he didn't try at least before. Maybe he knew, bro. Maybe he knew. What happened to his body, his choice? That's all I'm asking. What happened to his body, his choice? He can't even speak for himself. He's dead. And I imagine how hard it is for him. You know? He's up in heaven, hanging out, you know? He's been on this long line to meet Jesus. He's finally going to have, like, all the answers given to him. Like, he's been waiting for this his entire existence. Jesus, on the other hand, has been doing this forever. And he's just kind of bored. Because the same questions all the time. Why are we here? What's the meaning of life? Blah, 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 blah. No one ever asks anything interesting when they die. That's what I'm assuming for our old friend JC. But the guy finally gets there. And Jesus is like, hey, how's it going? Yeah, it's me. I'm Jesus. And like the first thought this guy has is like, holy shit, Jesus is black. And Jesus is like, I heard that. I read your mind. I heard that. And I get that a lot, actually. A lot of people are always surprised I am a darker tone. But that's me. I was raised in Galilee, and that's how I do my thing. So, what questions do you have, dude? Like, what do you want to know about life? Like, what's been bothering you? And of course, he asks, what's the meaning of life? And Jesus goes, yeah, I guess that again, right? And he starts going into it, and the guy is like mesmerized, right? Like, he's like, oh my God, like Jesus is telling me directly what it all means, what my life meant, and, you know, how I could have been a better person, but now I'm still in this eternal beauty of heaven, and nothing bad will happen anymore. And I'm just, and like he starts feeling this weird sensation because his soul is still tied to his body a little bit, right? And Jesus is starting to look at him weird because he's like, what's for this dude's like having a fucking stroke here? He's already dead. I don't understand what's going on, but I'll just keep going because maybe he's fanboying out, and this is the way he fanboys out. And the guy like starts like, and he like starts grabbing his crotch, and like Jesus is looking at him like, what the fuck is this guy doing? Like, what the hell's going on here? Peter, can you come here? And St. Peter comes with his little tablet, like he's been taking roster, like who's in, who's out. And he's like, Jesus, I don't have time. Like, dude, what's going on? He's like, this dude on the floor, what's his fucking deal, man? I don't know, Jesus. Like, he got online, you know, a few days ago, and he seemed like an alright dude. Looked at his life, nothing bad happened. He was a good dude, you know, and let him in. Peter, is he coming right now? And the guy is like on the floor, he's full on going. And Peter's looking at him like, I think he is. I had no idea. I didn't know he was like Peter, pull up his life. I want to see this real quick. And they cut to like this moment of his body where his wife is extracting his semen. And Jesus just looks at the guy and goes, "Oh, you're a sick bastard, ain't you?" And the guy's like, "No, what, I don't even know what's happening." You're letting your wife do that to you? You're letting her get you off after you've died, dude? And you're doing it in front of me? What kind of fucking disrespect is that? I let you through the fucking gates. I gave you a fucking dope ass testament 2,000 years ago, and you're fucking coming in here disrespecting me like this? No, Jesus, no, I didn't know she was doing that. He's fucking out of here, Pete. Get him the fuck out of here. Next, send me the next person with some dumbass questions. So Peter like lights him on fire, and the guy like starts falling down back into earth, but all the way down under it. And now he's in hell. Satan's kind of bored too. You know, the pandemic's really took a toll on him. He's like, "Hey, what's going on?" "Yeah, you're new here?" "Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. So what are you here for, man? Like, what are you here for?" "My wife, she was jerking off my dead body to extract semen from me." "Oh yeah. Not good. That's not holy. It's not holy at all. Are you into that kind of thing? Like that's just weird." No. I didn't know she'd do that. Like, I just thought we'd just die peacefully and everything would be fine. Well, okay. Well, you're here now, so get used to torment, you sick bastard. I gotta take this phone call real quick. Hello? Oh, hi, Jesus. Yeah, he's here. Yeah, I'm looking at him now. Yeah, he's not coming now. No, I think he might have just came all he can at this point. Yeah, he all calmed out. It was good to hear from you. You know, we're still on for that final battle called Armageddon, right? Okay, cool. Just want to make sure. Yeah. Just want to stay on track. Great. Oh, what was that? Okay. All right, let me know. All right. No problem. All right, bye. Hey, good news. You're upset with your wife now, but don't worry. She'll be here sooner rather than later. And as for your kid, he's a real piece of shit. Just you wait and see. That's what this woman could do if she has this child. Hyperbolic? Maybe. Maybe I am hyperbolic. But maybe I'm not wrong. Well, with that being said, as I take my last sip of liquid death water, I think we all know how this one is going to end.